Hi, this is Sherry Methling with Ancient Healings Around the World. Today I'm here with Paul Wong, who is an international healer and teacher that has developed a body work called the Heart Wisdom Process. This is his integration of the Chinese healing arts and his own personal experiences and learnings through healing, and now focuses on transformational healing through the heart space. Paul does his work via Skype, over the phone, or in person. And now he's going to take us through, step by step, how he's healing, what he's doing with the Heart Wisdom Process. Maybe to heal physical pain or an emotional issue. Otherwise, maybe just a repeating pattern. Step by step, walking us through how he is healing with the Heart Wisdom Process. Paul?
Hi, this is Paul Wong. I'm the founder of ChineseEnergetics.com, and also most recently the program that we have is the Heart Wisdom program. And I wanted to introduce myself and also share with the audience out there some of the techniques that you can apply immediately and help yourself with different life issues, from emotional or physical, and some of the processes that I learned over the years. And a little bit about my background is that 10 years ago I developed chronic asthma, so I had to look for alternative ways to heal myself. So I then in 2009 I started a practice called the Chinese Energetics, and that's from teaching and applying various Eastern and Chinese healing methods, from the Yuan method, Qigong, acupressure, and other modalities. And then my journey then brought me to India in 2012, and since 2012 to now, I developed a process called the Heart Wisdom Process. And the work that I'll be focused on today would be the Heart Wisdom Process. And what that is what I discovered was that what was causing me a lot of suffering over the last 10 years was a lot of just unprocessed conditioning that's subconscious. And this is likely happening to everybody that's out there that's dealing with some type of life issue. So I want to talk about the layers of the onion. So we will be working through the layers of the onion, and then as we peel away the layers of the onion, healing starts to happen. What happens is that when we talk about the example of the onion, starting since birth, we're actually putting layers of the onion on top of each other from every life experience that we have. And as we're putting the layers of the onion on top of each other, there's actually energy that never got released that goes into the subconscious. So if a person grew up and they have a difficult environment growing up, if their parents were fighting or they have some type of trauma or abuse, and that experience never got resolved, it goes back to the unconscious, and then as energy. And the energy can be stored physically and as pain, but over time it gets worse, and that person could have a chronic condition like I did, and a lot of my clients also have experienced that. And then if they don't resolve it, it could be played through with health issues or relationship issues, finance issues, just all sort of difficulties in life. So I wanted to share that's what happens as the layers of suffering piled on top of each other like an onion. And the way I work is that I help people delayer the layers of the onion so that they could go back to their natural health and have more happiness, joy, peace, have more kindness and compassion in life. And so that's the Heart Wisdom Process in a nutshell. And the technique is actually quite simple. So what happens is that we have experiences of suffering as stories in our mind, and what we're going to do is we're going to apply a process to let go of these stories that's held as energy, which is tension in the body, just by doing self-inquiry, and asking the question, who am I? And when you do that, then the layers of the onion starts to let go. And this is actually developed from, as I started spending time with the Hugging Amma. She's a saint that goes around the world hugging millions of people, and also another saint, Amma Sri Kumai. From meditating, from spending time with them, a lot of insight started to come through between 2013 and now, which actually has helped me resolve a lot of my unconscious experiences that was giving me sickness and causing me to actually have like relationships that are out of harmony with life, which resulted in me being sick. So I'm going to demonstrate it today with Selena. So do you have something that you want to work through with either a physical, or it could be a non-physical issue, which is worries about life, could be relationships, could be anything giving you stress. Do you have something?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, it's like recently I started kind of seeing someone,
Sure.
and I feel like lots of insecurities coming up, like, not being lovable, not being worthy of love,
Okay.
not being good enough.
So this is, we're going to work through a relationship issue, and the difference between this and traditional psychology is we actually don't need to go into every detail of the story. We focus on letting go of the energy behind the story. So the first thing I do, and if you're watching and if you got your own issue, is to just give yourself your own self-assessment from 0 to 10. 0 is you're at peace. 10 is like it's very troublesome, the worst feeling that it could be. So what do you rate it at from 0 to 10?
Say 7.
7, okay. And then the next step is just, you can either close your eyes, keep it open, is to just to kind of see how this life experience or issue affects you. So notice where your body, if there's a feeling of contraction or heaviness or tightness. So see if it's located anywhere related to this experience in life.
I feel like this tightness in my chest all the way to my shoulders.
Okay, so there's tightness on the chest and the shoulder. So what we're going to do is go through the example of the onion. And so what I noticed from working with a lot of clients is that the layers of the onion is mainly located in the gut and the heart area. And for people that already understand chakras, it's focused on the first 4 chakras, and everything else is all connected to that. So if we resolve these issues, then the lower energy centers actually can support the upper energy centers as well. So we're going to start going through the layers of the onion here. And this is intuition, but this intuition can also be trained and developed following a system as well. So when I'm tuning into Selena, I get the first layer relates to energy. Even though she feels tightness up here in the chest, the first layer of the energy relates to being about her being able to let go. So the first thing I have Selena do is to just in silence, we're gonna use a very simple technique, which is go into silence and just communicate to your gut area, and in silence just say the question, who am I if I can let go of this experience? And then you're basically communicating to your subconscious using this process. So as we start to do that, the energies, the tension will start to to let go. So now I'm going to just feel into Selena and see what the next layer of the onion is. And the next layer of the onion relates to an unconscious experience located in the heart, and it's about trusting. So then, if you're watching this, you have to see a pattern here. We're using the same process, the same technique of asking, who am I? So Selena, go into your heart area in silence and say, who am I if I can trust more? So what I mean by trusting is there's a invisible force, intelligence in the universe that takes care of us. And if we don't trust, then we're going to encounter more resistances and more difficulties. And we want to trust that. Okay, so there was a blockage from trusting. So that's why I asked her to say, who am I if I could trust more into the heart? Because that's in the heart you can actually connect directly to the intelligence of the universe. So the next layer goes back to letting go. And now that is connected to the gut area again. So in the gut, say in silence, who am I that I can let go? And who am I if I can fully let go? Sometimes even though we start to let go, we're still not fully letting go. And we want to specifically communicate to the subconscious to fully let go. Okay, so now what's blocking her from letting go further is sadness. So there's a layer of energy connected to sadness held in the heart area. And then I'm going to ask her to say, who am I if I can let go of the sadness in the heart? So we're doing all this silently. So we're again communicating to the subconscious, and the subconscious can start letting go of these energy patterns. And for people that are either practitioners out there or and you have certain issues, some people might even receive the healings for your own issues from watching this video, because there's actually an energy transmission that happens as well. And then people that are practitioners are like, how do we know there's the sadness in the heart? So I'm actually following basic traditional Chinese medicine that the heart relates to sadness. So that's why I mentioned the heart. And then for people that are learning from me, I actually teach them the framework and what to look for based on the layers of the onion. So now I'm going to ask Selena where she's at. So where are you at from a 0 to 10?
I had a couple releases, and I just felt that it's just like a little nod right now.
Okay.
In my chest.
Okay. So it seems like in the beginning the energy was more bigger, and
yes.
now it's released, and it's now like a smaller piece.
Yeah, like a little nod right here.
Okay. Now, how would you say from a 0 to 10 now?
4.
Okay, so it went from like a 7 to a 4. So we're going to keep working on this. So like any issue that you might be dealing with, we have to go to the layers, and then this process is to go through it so that it could go from could be a 10 to 0 or a 5 to 0, or sometimes you may not be able to go all the way down, but we try to make as much progress as we can in the session. So let me tune into Selena. Okay, so even though most cases sadness can be in the heart, according to traditional Chinese medicine, sometimes it could be in other parts of the body. So in this case, there's some sadness held in the gut area. So go into the gut area in silence and say, who am I if I can let go of the sadness? And then the next layer of the onion relates to fear. And why I say that we focus on the lower energy centers, and also connected to traditional Chinese medicine. This is all basics of traditional Chinese medicine. As I'm not an acupuncturist, so we're just using the basics. Your kidneys connect to fear, so we're going to have Selena go into the gut area and say, who am I if I can let go of my fears? And then she has those fears, and it's connected to trust. So the heart is related to trust. So we're going to have her go into her heart and say, who am I if I can trust more? So we're going through another layer. So for the practitioners, or if you're just watching this to help yourself, if you notice releases such as yawning or heat or some type of even physical discomfort, sometimes pain might come through, that's a good sign, because the subconscious energy that's been stuck for a long time, it's getting released. Sometimes you might get tears. So for people doing this work, going through the layers, people might be experiencing detoxing, either immediately or even days after, because the body's trying to readjust and release. So that's very normal, and sometimes it could be uncomfortable as a person is letting go of a lot of subconscious suffering held as energy for years and decades. So this process is to actually help purify us and get that stuff out of our system, which in this process is like, I'm less about affirmations, because the natural human state is joy and is peace and is compassion that's already in us. So we don't really, from my standpoint, need to look in the mirror and tell ourselves that we're, a nice person or a good person or a confident person, because that's already in us. If we can let go of a lot of suffering that's passed down from us, either to your own life or from your parents or your ancestors. So that's what we're doing, is to letting go of a lot of subconscious stuff that we don't need anymore. So where are you at from a 0 to 10 now?
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel light.
Okay. So so it's a 0.
Yeah.
So oftentimes what happens, even though it's going to a 0, the moment you let go of it, all other life issues or layers can come up. So if you think about this person that you're recently got involved with, are there other thoughts or feelings at this moment?
I think there's still some fear to trust.
Okay, so again, for people watching and the practitioners out there, I go for not just to go to the 0, but to go as deep as I can in the session, because I go for until the person's mind and body goes to like as much as still and peaceful as possible, that there's no other thoughts or worries or fears, if I can, from the time limit that I have. So there's still some fears, So this may be a different issue. So rate that again from 0 to 10 if you look at this fear.
It's a 4. Actually, it's what it is. It's fear of being judged. That's
Okay.
what it came up.
So this issue is relates, okay, to the fear of being judged. So people watching may have their own issues about the fear of being judged. So this could also help you as well. So let's go to the layers again. So the first layer related to this is about sadness in the heart. So when you're in silence, say to your heart, and especially if you're watching this and you have worries or you feel bad about being judged, then go into silence in your heart and say, who am I if I can let go of the sadness connected to the judgment? And then the judgment connects to not feeling loved. Okay? So go into silence and say, who am I if I could let go of my stories and experiences about not being loved? And then the next layer is about trusting. So go into silence and say, who am I if I can trust more? And then say it, we're going to take it a little deeper as who am I if I could trust the divine even more? And then say, who am I if I could feel the love of the divine from within? So I emphasize this a lot because the reason why this works is that people have been conditioned and accustomed to looking for love on the outside, looking for their happiness on the outside. And if the outside isn't giving them the love, then they're feeling suffering on the inside. So if you can actually understand the ancient principles, that's actually about finding our love and peace on the inside. And it's always there, but we have somehow forgotten about it, or been conditioned not to understand that. So we're actually spending a lot of time chasing happiness on the outside. And a lot of times it's from the conditioning. It's like sometimes with other clients we might have to go all the way back to when you were a little child in the womb, that your parents were having difficulties and you didn't feel loved. And then we actually have to let go and resolve those stories. And then the love and the peace has always been there. So if you could find that and feel that in the inside, then it's actually going to help you with your relationships with your partner and your spouse or co-workers or friends. And so that's what we're aiming to do. How do you feel? I know you're still releasing.
Yes. I felt some sadness coming up too.
Okay, so
When I asked myself, if I trust
okay,
God.
good. Okay. And how's the sadness now? Is there still any more sadness?
Yeah, and there is some sadness in there. It's just about 3, but there is some sadness.
So if there's more sadness, or for yourself that's watching, if you feel more, just keep repeating into your heart, who am I if I could let this go? Who am I if I could let the sadness go? And sometimes it might take a little bit because we have things buried for a long time. And it's been just there for a long time. So we're also teaching you to communicate to the subconscious. So if you could talk to it, because it needs some attention, then it could let go. It could release. So keep just saying, who am I if I could let go? Who am I if I could trust? So you saw some repeated patterns that I shared. Use it for yourself. Okay, there's also some sadness in the gut area too. So go into the gut area and say, who am I if I could let go of the sadness? And sometimes when we don't let go fully, it's because there's a fear. So go into the gut area and say, who am I if I could let go of this fear of letting go? And again, go back to the heart and say, who am I if I could trust fully? And what's preventing you from trusting fully is there's some sadness holding it. That's preventing you from trusting fully. So then say, who am I if I could let go of that sadness? So let us know where you're at now with 0 to 10.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so I want to conclude by saying that we started with an issue and we went all the way to 0, but then there's another layer, another issue that came up. So in this work, we actually work with our clients and we try to work with them over a longer period of time because there's just so many layers of conditioning. And so ideally, if I could work with a person between 3 to 6 months, you could see huge transformations relating to all sort of life issues. It's possible that issues can be resolved quickly, but we need some time because of so many years of suffering people have. So again, I'm Paul Wong, and I want to thank you for joining me. If you have questions, please email me. Go to my website, ChineseEnergetics.com, and I'd be happy to share with you this heart wisdom process.